we're doing percents today. So, formulas and properties, percent proportion. This is how most of you probably learned how to do percents. This is what they teach nowadays. Which I had to go back and say, what? What are the kids talking about? I don't know what you're doing. I never did that. What do you mean what do you mean percent 100 is of? I don't remember doing that because I never taught and learned how to do that. I don't particularly care for this method, but it does work. Yes. Yeah. No, for me, this is not what I use when I do percents. I have a way that I think is simpler, but I also understand the idea is to get the idea that a percentage is a part of 100. That's where percent comes from. Per for part, cent for 100. Part of 100. What part of 100 do I have? Okay. Okay, this is another way that it's looked at. Percent over 100 equals what part out of the total. Okay. I actually prefer this, the part over the total instead of the is of. I find it a little less confusing, but that's just me personally. But if you want to like this, I know many of you, if not all of you, were taught using these methods here for solving percent problems. That is what you're comfortable with. Please feel free to use that if that is what you are comfortable with. Okay, as long as you're doing good math and showing your work, I really don't care a whole lot about what method you use to do something. As long as you're using a good mathematical method and you're getting the right answer and showing your work while you're doing it. I'm not stuck on, ooh, you have to do it my way. There are a few times that I will be specific. You must do it this way. But for the most part, I'm not, as long as you can do it correctly. Okay, I know. I try to show the methods that tend to work the best, tend to have the least chance for error. That's what I try to do. The ones that have the least chance for error, that's what I try to teach. So that way you're less likely to make a mistake. After 20 years of doing this, I think I've got some pretty good methods down for how to show how to do it. But I am open to something new. If I see something new that's good, I use that. Okay? Now, this second part is actually more what I learned how to do. Set up the equation. Okay? The part is equal to the percent times the whole. And when we get to the word problems, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. And what I do is, I use of it is equals, of is times. That's what I do is I just replace the of with times, the equals with is, plug in the numbers as accordingly, and solve a very simple algebra equation. Remember, in these ones, you must change your percent to decimals. Okay. And then we're going to do some problems today with simple interest. And I'm going to write this over here so I don't forget. Interest equals the principal, which is the starting amount, times the rate, times the time. And the rate is the percentage as a decimal. Okay. Interest equals percent rate time. Okay. This is a simple interest one. This is not how your bank computes your interest for your savings account, which, by the way, really sucks nowadays. When we were kids, 3%, 4%, 5% interest on a savings account. Now you're lucky if you can get a 0.25% interest. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke nowadays because that's not how the banks make their money. They make their money off of investing your money. So it doesn't help you out anymore. Any questions? Okay, so here's what you're going to do on this one. You're going to rewrite the percents as decimals. You're going to rewrite percents as fractions. Now, in order to write the percent as a decimal, it's very easy. You move the decimal point that is here over 2 places to the left. So I move it over 2 places to the left. I have 0.01. I have 0.01. For decimals, it's easy to change a percent to a decimal. You move the decimal point 2 places over. Move the decimal point 2 places over. Fractions, it's a little harder. For the fractions, there's 2 ways to do this. Pay attention, please, because you're going to want, some of this is going to be easy, some of it's going to be hard. 2 ways to do this. One way is do 1 over 100, or do 5 over 100, or 10 over 100, or 20 over 100, and then reduce. You must always reduce your fractions. But some of them, 25%. What fraction represents 25%? 1/4. 33.3% would be what is a fraction? 1/3. These are ones that you should know. If you have ones that you know, like 50%, you should know what that is as a fraction. Okay, 75%, you should know what that is as a fraction. You can go straight to writing those down in the reduced form. If not, put it over 100 and then reduce the fraction. Okay? Take a couple of minutes to... Okay, most people have these done or mostly done, and I get to cheat and just use the eraser. So there are your decimals. 2 decimal places makes it really easy. Yes?
Pretty sure you can raise your hand.
No. And then the fractions.
That's super cool.
So you get 1 over 100, 1 over 20, 1 over 10, 1 over 5, 1/4, 1/3, 1/2, 2/3, 3/4, and then 1 for the last one. 100% is 1. If I have 100% of a dollar, I have a dollar. Okay, makes sense. Percents ought to work well. Percents are good for money. Parts of 100. We do everything out of 100 for our money. If we didn't have the crappy measurement system that we have in this country and use the metric system that the rest of the frickin' world uses, in about 5 years, we will literally be the only country not using the metric system. In like 5 years, we will literally be the only country not using the metric system. There are currently 2 other countries right now, and they are in the process of changing. I think one of them is like Myanmar, and then another one is some other little small island. One of them's a little small island in the South Pacific, and the other one's a little small country in Southeast Asia. That's it. That's it. And us.
So 2 little islands.
You know why we don't? Because we're Americans and we're stubborn. By God, why should we change? The rest of the world should change to be like us. But we're not, you know, really, we're it. It's stubborn and arrogant. But that's okay. Okay, let's start solving problems. Now, here is how I like to solve these percent problems. I don't like using the proportions, but we can set up the proportions. Okay. So what percent of 56 is 42? So what percent? So X over 100 equals 42 over 56. Percent over 100 equals the part of the whole. You cross multiply and solve. Okay? And I'm going to go grab a calculator because I'm not doing this one in my head. You can try. If you do long division, you don't have to do it in your calculator. You can do it in long division. I'm not doing that either. So 56x equals 4200 because you cross multiply. Divide both sides by 56. And 4200. Oh. Gotta turn it on first. Yeah. So X equals 75%. Now, that works great. If this is what you're used to, please feel free to solve these problems this way. Okay. As a matter of fact, do that one. Set that one up as proportion and solve it. What percent of 90 is 30?
30.
Okay, so we set this up the same way. What percent, what part of 100 is of 90 is 30? Cross multiply, 90x equals 3,000. Divide both sides by 90. And you get x equals 33.3% or 1/3. Now, for me, okay, this is not how I learned how to do it. And this is what I like to do. For me, it's easier. It works every time. What percent of 40 is 2.5? Now, there's two things going on here. I can take that sentence very easily, very quickly, rewrite it as an algebraic equation. Whenever I see what, that's my x. Of is times is equals. So what percent x of times 40 equals 2.5? In other words, 40x equals 2.5. You can solve this. That's one step to solve, right? Divide both sides by 40. Divided by 4d, not 4. And x equals 0.0625. Now, I have a problem with my final answer. What do I need to do to my final answer? I need to change my decimal to a percent, which means I move my decimal point 2 places to the left in the other direction. So my answer actually is 6.25%. Okay. This is what I learned. This is what I do. I don't like the proportion, but that's because I wasn't taught the proportion. I didn't use the proportion for the last God knows how many years of my life of figuring out percentages. That's what I do when I solve it, when I set it up. Okay, it's not what I learned. Now, if you're comfortable with the proportion, please use the proportion. Set it up properly if that's what you're comfortable with. Okay. Now, a good application. A dress shirt that normally costs $38.50. That's not a bad price for a nice formal shirt. You know, the one that goes with the suit. It's not a bad price. Is on sale for 30% off. What is the sale price? Okay, so what I need to do is how much am I going to actually pay? So I'm not going to pay the $38.50. I'm going to pay 30% less than that. So same thing. Is so I need to find 30% of $38.50. So $38.50 times, and to find 30%, I take my percent and make it a decimal, right? 30% is 0.30. Have to make your percent a decimal when you do this. Multiply those. $38.50 times 0.3 equals $11.55. Is $11.55 what I'm paying for the shirt? No, that's how much I take off the price. So to find out what I'm paying, what do? I take the $38.50 and subtract the $11.55. $26.95. And like I said, if you are buying a dress shirt, i.e. the kind of shirt you're going to wear with a suit and a tie with nice cuffs and a nice collar, that's a very good price for a good dress shirt. They're expensive. Dress shirts are extremely expensive. I'm just saying. Okay. Having had to buy a few, mostly for jobs, that are expensive. Okay. So this is one here, the problem finding a base. We're setting up the algebraic problem. Is perfect. This sets it up really well. I need to take 125%, make it a decimal. What's 125% as a decimal? 1.25. Move it over 2 places. 1.25 times I don't know equals 17.5. Of its times is equal. Put the two numbers. Put the x for the thing you're looking for. It's a simple equation. Divide both sides by 1.25. X equals 17.5 divided by 1.25. 14. Yep. Try doing that one. Okay. Setting it up the way I set up the other one. 25%, make it a decimal, 0.25. Of is times what? I don't know. That's my x. Is equals 10. Divide both sides by 0.25. And x equals 40. Once again, let me reiterate. If you are not comfortable with this, but you are comfortable setting up the proportion, please, by all means, set up the proportion to solve it using the proportion. If that's what you're more comfortable with, please do that. This is what I'm comfortable with, so this is what I do. But either way will get you the correct answer. If you do it right, I don't care what you do as long as you do it correctly and get the right answer. Okay? So once again, you don't have to do it like this. You could set up the proportions like this. That's fine. It'll still work. Okay? No, too far. One more problem. Interest rate. And I wrote the interest problem over here. The interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. Okay? Principal times the rate times time. The principal is the amount of money you invest in there. It's how much you put into the savings account. So what number do I have that's there that is my principal? 840. 840, that's my principal. What is my rate? It's 4.5%, but what do I need to do to my rate to be able to make it work in here? Make it a decimal, so that would be 0.045. And then my time, and actually I got the colors wrong on those two, but what's my time? 4 years, that's my time. So my interest equals my principal, 840, times my rate, 0.045, times my time, 4. And please, use the proper tool. Sometimes a calculator is the best tool. Sometimes a pencil and paper is the best tool. And you will make $86.40 in 4 years. You just won't find the free number. Did anybody get the same thing I got? Because they didn't get the same thing. What'd you get? 151.2. Maybe I typed it in wrong. I think maybe I did 480 instead of 840. That's what I did. I think I did that. You guys are right. I was wrong. I typed in 480 instead of 840. My bad. So this should be $151.20, which is not bad, but you're never going to get rich off of the savings account. The savings account is where you put your money to keep it safe. It's a safe place to put it where you're going to have it available to use it if you need it, but it's safer than putting it underneath your mattress. Safer in the bank than it is sitting in your mattress. That's what a savings account is good for anyway, because you're not going to make any money off of it.